Try it right now. Wiggle your fingers and run them up your own side. Your ribs, your neck, the bottom of your foot. Go ahead. Nobody's watching. Nothing. Maybe a faint pressure, maybe a little itch, but nothing that makes you laugh, nothing that makes you flinch, nothing you'd ever describe as ticklish. Now picture someone else doing the exact same thing. Same fingers, same spot, same pressure. You'd squirm, you'd laugh before they even touched you. You might actually scream. Same hand, same nerves, same skin. The only thing that changed is who the hand belongs to. So why does it only work when it isn't you? This sounds like a silly question. It is not. The reason you can't tickle yourself is one of the strangest facts about the human brain, and it's not really about tickling at all. It's a tiny crack in the floor, and if you lean down and look through it, you can see the machinery that builds your entire sense of being a person. The thing that stops you from tickling yourself is the same thing that lets you know you exist. Let's start with what we actually know. In 1897, two psychologists named G. Stanley Hall and Arthur Allen pointed out something nobody had bothered to name before. There isn't one kind of tickle. There are two. The first is the light one, the feather drifting across your arm one, the one that makes you want to scratch, not laugh. They called it nismesis. It's gentle, it's almost annoying, and weirdly, you can sort of do this one to yourself. The second is the real one, the helpless, gasping, please stop one, the kind that only works on specific places, your ribs, your armpits, your neck, your feet, your belly, and only when someone else does it. They called it gergalisis. And that's the one that refuses to happen by your own hand. Notice the pattern already hiding in here. The dangerous feeling tickle, the one that overwhelms you, only lives on the soft, vulnerable parts of your body, the parts you'd protect in a fight. Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. For now, the bigger mystery. Why does your own hand simply not count? The answer arrived in the late 1990s from a young neuroscientist named Sarah Jane Blakemore, working with Daniel Wolpert and Chris Frith in London. They put people in a brain scanner and had them experience the same touch, two ways, once delivered by someone else, once delivered by their own hand. The nerves in the skin fired the same, but the brain did not respond the same. When the touch was self-produced, a region called the somatosensory cortex, the part that lights up when you're touched, went quiet, dimmed, turned down. Your brain was actively ignoring your own hand. Here's why. Buried at the back of your skull is a structure called the cerebellum, and one of its jobs is to be a fortune teller. Every time you decide to move, your brain doesn't just send the command to your muscles, it also sends a copy of that command to itself, a prediction of exactly what that will feel like. And when the real sensation arrives a fraction of a second later and matches the prediction, the brain shrugs and cancels it. No surprise, no tickle. But Blakemore's team wanted to prove the prediction was the key. So they built a machine. You move a lever with one hand, and the lever drives a little foam tip that strokes your other palm. And when they added a delay, even a tiny one around a fifth of a second, something woke up. The touch started to feel ticklish again. The longer the delay, the more ticklish it got. Same hand, same person, same nerve endings. The only thing they broke was the prediction. And the moment your brain couldn't see it coming, your own touch turned into someone else's. So tickling isn't about the skin, it's about surprise. And you can't surprise yourself because there is always a part of you that already knows. Now, some of you are thinking, fine, but why would a brain bother building a fortune teller just to ruin tickling? Fair question. And the answer is that ruining tickling is an accident. Think about how much your own body is touching you right now. Your clothes against your skin, your tongue resting against your teeth, your heartbeat, your breathing, your hair. If your brain reacted to all of that the way it reacts to a stranger's finger, you would be drowning in sensation every second of your life. You'd never feel the one touch that actually matters, the spider on your shoulder, the hand in your pocket, the thing you didn't expect. So the brain does something brilliant. It mutes the predictable. It turns down everything you caused yourself so that anything you didn't cause stands out like a flare in the dark. The tickle is just the flare. It's your brain screaming, "This touch was not in my forecast. Pay attention," which finally explains that pattern from earlier. Why only the soft, vulnerable spots? Why only when you don't see it coming? Because tickling, at its root, looks a lot like a defense system. The ticklish parts of your body are almost exactly the parts that are dangerous to leave exposed: the throat, the ribs over your organs, the belly, the soft underside of you. When something unexpected touches those places, you don't calmly think about it. You twist away, you guard, you pull in. The laughter might just be the leftover noise of a reflex built to protect you. But there's a second theory, and it's gentler. Tickling is how mammals play. Charles Darwin noticed this more than a century ago. He pointed out that tickling only really works under specific conditions. You have to be in a light mood already. It has to be unpredictable. And it usually has to be someone you trust: a parent, a sibling, a friend, not a stranger on the street. A stranger tickling you isn't funny, it's a threat. Tickling, in other words, is something you let people do. It's a tiny test of trust, played out on the most defenseless parts of the body, dressed up as a game, and it is ancient, far older than us. In 2016, two researchers named Shimpei Ishiyama and Michael Brecht published a study in the journal Science with a setup that sounds like a joke. They tickled rats, and the rats loved it. They let out high-pitched ultrasonic chirps, a frequency far above what you can hear, that scientists genuinely describe as rat laughter. They got most ticklish on the belly. They started chasing the researchers' hands, hopping with joy, asking for more. And here's the part that should give you chills. When the rats were anxious or stressed, the ticklishness vanished. Just like in humans, it only works when you already feel safe. The team even found neurons in the rat's brain that fired during tickling, and fired again just from the anticipation of being tickled. The brain was lighting up before the hand arrived. Great apes laugh when tickled too: chimps, gorillas, orangutans, all of them. Researchers who've mapped those sounds believe that the laughter we make at jokes today grew out of the laughter our ancestors made while play wrestling and tickling millions of years ago. Tickle laughter came first. The comedian came much, much later, which means the reason you can't tickle yourself isn't a quirk. It's wired into a system older than language, older than humanity, older than laughter itself. And now, the part that turns dark. If the wall between self and other is built out of prediction, then what happens when the prediction breaks? Some people can tickle themselves, not many, but people living with certain symptoms of schizophrenia, specifically the experience that their own thoughts or movements feel like they're being controlled by someone else, can sometimes do it. Blakemore's group tested this too. When they had these patients self produce a touch, the brain didn't mute it. It reacted as if a stranger had done it. Sit with what that means. The same broken prediction that can make a person feel that their arm isn't theirs, that a voice in their head came from outside, that their own actions belong to someone else, is the same break that lets them tickle their own hand. The boundary between you and the world is not a fact, it's a calculation, and calculations can fail. So here is what's really happening in that quiet little moment when you run your fingers up your own ribs and feel nothing. Every second you are awake, somewhere in the dark of your skull, your brain is running a complete simulation of your own body. It predicts every movement before you make it. It forecasts every sensation before it arrives. It compares the world against the forecast, constantly, silently, and it labels everything that matches with one quiet word: me. That's how you know your hand is yours. That's how you tell yourself from everything that isn't. That's how, behind your eyes, there's a single continuous someone instead of a storm of disconnected feelings. The tickle that never comes is your brain whispering, "I saw that coming. That was us." You can't tickle yourself for the same reason you can't startle yourself, can't surprise yourself, can't ever quite catch yourself off guard. There's always a part of you standing one step ahead, watching, predicting, already knowing what you're about to do. It is the thing that makes you you, and it never, ever blinks. Most people go their whole lives never noticing it's there, until one quiet afternoon, they drag their own fingers across their own skin, waiting to laugh, and feel absolutely nothing. And in that nothing is the proof. Somewhere inside you, in the silence, something is keeping perfect track of exactly where you end and the rest of the universe begins. You'll never sneak up on it, because it's already you.